Hackney was cold. Hackney was damp, always grey skies, never any sun. The streets were often empty save for the occasional figure hurrying through the mist. The air was thick with the scent of rain and the distant hum of the city. It was a place where time seemed to stand still, where the past lingered in every shadow and corner. The River Lee flowed like a black vein. It was the lifeblood of Hackney, winding its way through the town like a serpent. Its waters were dark and mysterious, hiding secrets beneath their surface. On quiet nights, you could almost hear the whispers of the past carried along by the current. It pulsed through the heart of Hackney. The river was a constant presence, a reminder of the town's history and its many tales of woe and wonder. It was said that the river had a memory, that it remembered every story, every secret, every sin. This was not a good place. The houses huddled together. They leaned on each other as if sharing their burdens. The narrow alleyways were like veins, carrying the lifeblood of the town's inhabitants. Each house had its own story, its own secrets, its own ghosts. They were old and crooked. Their walls were cracked, their paint peeling. They stood as silent witnesses to the passage of time, to the lives lived within their walls. Each creak and groan was a testament to their age, to the weight of the years they had borne. Their windows were like watchful eyes. They saw everything. They forgot nothing. The air was heavy. It hummed with secrets, dark secrets, dangerous secrets, the kind of secrets that could change lives, that could destroy them, the kind of secrets that were whispered in the dead of night when the world was asleep and only the shadows were awake, secrets that whispered on the wind. Hackney held its breath, waiting, watching. The town was alive with anticipation, with a sense of foreboding. It was as if the very air was charged with electricity, with the promise of something about to happen, something that would change everything. What would emerge from the shadows? The question hung in the air, unanswered. The shadows were deep and impenetrable, hiding their secrets well. But one thing was certain. Whatever emerged from the darkness would be something to reckon with. Something that would leave its mark on Hackney, just as the town had left its mark on all who had passed through its streets. They came in the dead of night. The village of Hackney lay silent, shrouded in a thick blanket of darkness. The only light came from the pale, ghostly moon that hung high in the sky, casting eerie shadows across the landscape. The villagers, unaware of the impending doom, slept soundly in their beds, oblivious to the terror that was about to befall them. The air was thick with an unnatural chill, a premonition of the horrors to come. It was a night that would be etched into the annals of Hackney's history, a night when fear took on a tangible form. 3 shadows against the moon. They moved with an otherworldly grace, their forms barely distinguishable from the darkness that surrounded them. These were not ordinary shadows. They were the harbingers of dread, the embodiment of the village's deepest fears. As they glided silently through the night, the very air seemed to tremble in their wake. The moonlight revealed just enough to hint at their sinister nature, but not enough to fully comprehend the terror they represented. They were the whispers Hackney feared. They were real. They were the whispers Hackney feared. They were real. The villagers had spoken of them in hushed tones, sharing tales of their malevolent deeds around flickering fires. These whispers had been dismissed as mere superstition by some, but those who had encountered the 3 knew better. They were the stuff of nightmares, the dark figures that haunted the edges of one's vision, always just out of sight but never out of mind. Their presence was a constant reminder of the fragility of peace, a lurking threat that could strike at any moment. First was Agatha, ancient and withered. Her face was a map of wrinkles, each line telling a story of dark magic and forbidden knowledge. Her eyes, though clouded with age, still held a spark of malevolent intelligence. She moved with a slow, deliberate grace, each step a testament to her enduring power. A single eye blazed in her skull, a beacon of her unholy strength. She clutched a staff topped with a crow's skull, a symbol of her dominion over death and decay. A single eye blazed in her skull. It was not just an eye, but a window into the abyss, a portal to the dark forces that she commanded. The eye seemed to glow with an inner fire, a testament to the dark ritual she had performed and the forbidden knowledge she had acquired. It was said that to look into Agatha's eye was to glimpse one's own doom, to see the fate that awaited those who crossed her path. She clutched a staff topped with a crow's skull. The staff was more than just a walking aid. It was a conduit for her dark powers, a tool she used to channel the malevolent energies that she wielded. The crow's skull, bleached white and polished smooth, was a grim reminder of the lives she had taken and the souls she had claimed. It was said that the skull could speak, whispering secrets of the dead to those who knew how to listen. Second was Elspeth. Tall and skeletal, her fingers were claws. She moved with a predatory grace, her long, bony fingers curling and uncurling like the talons of a great bird of prey. Her eyes were cold and calculating, always searching for her next victim. Her laughter was the hiss of dead leaves, a sound that sent shivers down the spines of those who heard it. She wore a necklace of children's teeth, a macabre trophy of her dark deeds. Her laughter was the hiss of dead leaves. It was a sound that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere, a disembodied cackle that echoed through the night. The villagers had learned to fear that sound, for it heralded Elspeth's arrival and the horrors that followed in her wake. She wore a necklace of children's teeth, each one a testament to her cruelty and the innocent lives she had claimed. She wore a necklace of children's teeth. Each tooth was a grim reminder of the lives she had taken, a symbol of her power and her cruelty. The necklace clinked softly as she moved, a chilling sound that sent shivers down the spines of those who heard it. It was said that the teeth still held the souls of the children they had belonged to, trapped forever in Elspeth's dark embrace. Last was Morwen, young and deceptively beautiful. Her beauty was a mask, hiding the darkness that lay beneath. Her eyes were pits of darkness, voids that seemed to swallow the light. A single tear of blood traced a path down her cheek, a symbol of the sorrow and suffering she had caused. They were the three, the unholy trinity, the Witches of Hackney. But her eyes were pits of darkness. They were voids that seemed to swallow the light, drawing in all who dared to look into them. It was said that to meet Morwen's gaze was to lose oneself, to be drawn into the abyss and never return. Her beauty was a trap, a lure to draw in the unwary and the foolish. A single tear of blood traced a path down her cheek, a symbol of the sorrow and suffering she had caused. A single tear of blood traced a path down her cheek. It was a symbol of the sorrow and suffering she had caused, a testament to the lives she had ruined. They were the three, the unholy trinity, the Witches of Hackney. Their names were whispered in fear, their deeds recounted in horror. They were the embodiment of the village's darkest fears, a reminder that even in the quietest of places, evil could still find a foothold. And on that fateful night, they had come to claim Hackney as their own. Their power spread like a disease. A creeping dread infected Hackney. Whispers started, then grew louder. Footsteps echoed on cobblestones, but no one was there. Laughter, cold and cruel, drifted on the wind. Shadows danced in the flickering gaslight. Shapes twisted into monstrous forms. Fear took root in every heart. They were watching, always watching. The three, their eyes were everywhere. Then, people started to disappear. First, old Tom the blacksmith, last seen muttering about witches, gone without a trace. Then came Mary, the baker's daughter. Her favourite doll was found by the river, but Mary was never seen again. Fear turned to panic. The whispers became screams. The townsfolk locked their doors and boarded their windows. But it wasn't enough. The three were hungry, and Hackney was their hunting ground. One night a storm raged. Rain lashed the windows of the crooked billet. Inside, a few brave souls huddled around a single lantern. Suddenly the door flew open. Wind howled through the tavern, and standing there, silhouetted against the lightning, were the three. Agatha's single eye blazed. Elspeth's grin widened, revealing rows of sharp teeth. Morwen's tear of blood dripped, staining her pale cheek. Terror filled the tavern. No one dared to breathe. The witches were here. The three moved slowly through the tavern. Their eyes burned into the terrified faces of the patrons. They stopped at the centre of the room. Agatha raised her staff. A bolt of lightning struck it. The tavern plunged into darkness. Screams filled the night. Then a low chanting began, words in a language older than time. The air crackled with unseen energy. A ritual was beginning, a dark and terrible ritual. But one man stood his ground. Thomas, the young apprentice. He loved Mary, the baker's daughter. He would avenge her. He grabbed a burning log from the hearth. The flames gave him courage. He charged. He swung the burning wood at the three. The witches shrieked. The flames seemed to hurt them. The chanting stopped. The ritual was broken. With a blinding flash of light, the three were gone. The storm subsided. Silence fell over the tavern. Morning came. The sun broke through the clouds for the first time in what felt like an eternity. The town of Hackney, shrouded in mist and mystery, began to stir. The light touched the rooftops, casting long shadows that seemed to stretch and yawn after a long, dark slumber. The air was crisp, carrying with it the scent of dew and the faintest hint of something else, something that made the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. It was a new day, but the memories of the past lingered like a stubborn fog. But the fear remained. The tavern was empty. Chairs were overturned and tables were left in disarray, as if the patrons had fled in a hurry. The once lively hearth was now cold and lifeless, its ashes a stark reminder of the warmth that had been lost. The silence was deafening, broken only by the occasional creak of the wooden floorboards, as if the building itself was whispering secrets of what had transpired. There was no sign of the three. No sign of the townsfolk who had been trapped inside. The streets, usually bustling with life, were now eerily quiet. Doors and windows were shut tight, as if the town was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. The marketplace, once filled with the sounds of haggling and laughter, was now a ghostly echo of its former self. The absence of the three was palpable, a void that seemed to suck the life out of Hackney. Had it all been a nightmare? Some said the three were gone for good. Their faces, etched with worry and fear, told a different story. The whispers grew louder, spreading like wildfire through the town. Each whisper carried a different version of the tale, but all shared the same underlying fear. The three had left their mark on Hackney, a scar that would take time to heal. But scars have a way of reminding us of the pain we've endured. Others whispered that they were merely biding their time. The shadows seemed to move with a life of their own, flickering and dancing in the dim light. The candle's flame wavered, casting eerie shapes on the walls. It was as if the very darkness was alive, waiting for the right moment to strike. The fear was a living, breathing entity, feeding off the uncertainty and dread that hung in the air, waiting for the right moment to return. The whispers started again. They were softer now, like the rustling of leaves in the wind, but they were there. The wind carried them through the empty streets, a haunting melody that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. The lips that whispered were unseen, but their words were felt deep within the soul of Hackney. The town was caught in a web of fear and anticipation, each whisper tightening the strands, softer now, but still there. Hackney held its breath once more. The fog rolled in, cloaking the town in a shroud of uncertainty. The dim lights cast long, eerie shadows that seemed to watch and wait. The town was a living, breathing entity, its heart beating in time with the whispers that filled the air. Hackney was waiting, poised on the edge of something unknown, its breath held in anticipation of what was to come. Years passed. Life returned to Hackney, but the scars remained. The disappearances haunted their memories. Children were told tales of the three, warnings to stay inside at night, to never speak their names aloud. And sometimes on a cold, dark night, when the wind howled through the empty streets, people swore they could hear it. A faint laughter, cold and cruel, a reminder that some curses never truly die.